Hi friends, it's December 31st, 2020. For the past 3 weeks, I and my family have been fighting and recovering from COVID at home. For my husband, it felt like a really bad cold, he says, although I would argue that no cold I've ever seen comes with the kind of violent chills he experienced. He's doing well and back at work. For my sons, it was fairly mild, with symptoms of congestion, runny nose, headache, and extreme fatigue. For me, I'm 21 days in, and I had every symptom, and they all sucked. In fact, on day 10, I ended up in the emergency room struggling to breathe. That is due to my pre-existing conditions, I'm sure. I'm A negative blood type, and I have reactive airway disease, which is a kind of asthma that flares up with respiratory illness. And I also have reactive hypertension. So I had some vulnerabilities. Here's the great news. We had mild and moderate COVID symptoms, and we are well on our road to recovery. I wanted to tell you a few things that helped me. I want to start by saying I'm not a doctor. These are things that my doctors and nurses have told me, and these are things that have helped me recover and get through the virus. I'm going to talk to you about physical things and mental and spiritual things. And I put this out into the world in the hopes that for those of you who do get COVID and who are struggling to recover at home, can make your recovery period faster and hopefully uneventful. I will also confess that I dealt with all the symptoms and I was actually doing pretty well moving through them. But when I lost my sense of smell, that's when I started crying. I really rely on my sense of smell to help me to strengthen my resilience. And losing that and losing the sense of taste, that takes away 40% of the way we bring in sensory data into our minds. And so that was rough. But we are all recovering. So here's what I want to say to you. Best advice I was ever given by my medical team was to elevate the head of my bed and sleep on my belly or my sides. Now, I can't sleep on my belly because I have had 2 shoulder surgeries and my body doesn't do that. But I was able to sleep on my side, and I wedged myself between pillows so I wouldn't roll onto my back. What happens when you lay on your back is that gravity compresses the lungs, and that makes it very difficult for lungs that are fighting an infection to also get air. So sleeping on your stomach if you can, or on your side if you cannot, elevating the head of the bed, and then all throughout the day, whenever you think about it, laying on your belly and allowing yourself to do deep breathing. In fact, my dear friend, Sarah, who's an ICU RN, she told me motion is lotion. And what she meant by that was keep moving. Keep moving throughout your day. Rest when you need to, but keep yourself physically moving. Keep your arms moving, opening, moving, stretching. Do deep breathing, yogic breathing. Yogic breathing helped me so much. In through my nose, out through my mouth. Deep lung expanding breaths. And let yourself cough up the gunk. Motion is lotion. And drink, as I was incredibly thirsty, drink water, drink hot tea, drink Gatorade, something that refills your electrolytes. Avoid alcohol and coffee. Those make it hard for your immune system to function. Decrease dairy because of the mucus it produces. Speaking of mucus, Mucinex is your friend. I took the 1200 milligram extended release and am still taking Mucinex to this day, day 21. Treat the symptoms. This is not a normal virus where you try to let your fever kill the virus. What I was told by one nurse is that this virus takes so long to die that by the time your body's natural fever response killed it, your brain will be fried. So treat the symptoms. Mucinex for the mucus. You can alternate Tylenol and Advil for fever. Try to keep that fever down under 100. Take some supplements if you're open to that. Vitamin D3 is excellent. I've been taking 10,000 units a day. Vitamin C is excellent. I've been taking between 2,000 and 5,000 milligrams. Zinc is really important. I've been taking 80 milligrams, and vitamin B. All the B vitamins are good. We also take protease away from food because away from food, it impacts what's going on with the viruses in your bloodstream. My understanding is that it helps weaken their outer walls and makes them more vulnerable to white blood cells, but away from food. Otherwise, it's just a digestive enzyme. Then we take something called monolaurin, which is very helpful for the immune system, and we take omega-3 fish oil, and we've been taking sambucol, which is elderberry. Those are the supplements we've also been taking, as well as treating the symptoms. Now, because of my reactive airway disease, when I ended up in the ER struggling to breathe, it wasn't my lungs, it wasn't my heart, it was actually just the pain, the intense pain and pressure of trying to take a deep breath. And there's nothing for that. You just have to push through it and breathe deeply anyway, and use your nebulizer. If you have asthma, use your nebulizer. Mine was a lifesaver. I was also given this device. You can get it on Amazon for $10. It is called an inhalation spirometer by Voldine. $10. The way it works is you actually inhale, keep this little floaty device in the best, there's a best, better, and good area. As you inhale, and this raises to a certain level. I was at about 1,000, 1,500 when I started, doing 20 reps a day. I could only do 10 at the start. Now I'm doing 20 reps a day at 2,500, and my goal is 2,700 for my age and level of health. Inhalation spirometer to exercise your lungs. Get yourself a pulse oximeter to be able to check your oxygen levels, because if they fall below 90, you need to get to the ER. Or if they just fall quickly, suddenly, and you can't get them up by taking deep breaths. Mine's 98 right now, and my pulse is about 71. Also, you'll want a thermometer, preferably contactless, 97.9. Especially if other people in your house are using it. So those are the physical things I would suggest. Rest more than you think you need to. Take PTO if you can, and let people help you. I am super grateful that I work for Truman Medical Centers. They have a top-notch occupational health program, and they take such good care of us. And I've been deeply grateful for that, and for the time off that I took and needed to heal. So that's the physical. Now, what about the mental? What about the spiritual? I would encourage you, whatever your practice is mentally, to guard your mind so that you can utilize your strength for healing. Avoid the news if it upsets you. Avoid anything that upsets you. You need your strength to heal. Audiobooks are great. With COVID, your vision can be impacted, and it can be really hard to read with a terrible headache, so audiobooks are helpful. Laugh as much as you can. It feels good and it exercises your lungs. Get outside if you can. Bundle up. Make sure you wrap your mouth and nose in something that protects you from the cold air, because that is hard on your lungs, but nature is profoundly healing. If you are angry about anything, set it aside. You don't have time for it when you're working on healing. Practice forgiveness. If something is troubling and stirring up your stress response and your nervous system, it's going to impact the immune system. So build bridges with people who love you, but perhaps don't even agree with you. I have a lot of people in my world who have a variety of opinions, and we vehemently disagree on certain things, including politics. But I'll tell you what, they love me, and they don't want me to be sick. And I intentionally reached out to a few of those people as I was struggling, and they gave me encouragement, and they checked in on me, and they gave me love, and I needed that. I needed to feel that connection with them, because we've been so disconnected in other ways. Which leads me to what you can do spiritually. Surround yourself with light and love. Call in your spiritual warriors, whoever those people are, those friends in your world, those beings. Pray, meditate, visualize yourself well. Chant if that works for you. Sing if that works for you. I did something that I call sound bathing, which means I just had music playing all day and all night. And one of the chants that I utilized was Om Tare Tutare Ture Soha, which is invoking the one, the divine one who comes swiftly. She comes swiftly in times of emergency. And what that chant means is I fully align myself with the divine one. I am free from suffering. I am protected against internal and external dangers. I am protected against disease. I am filled with peace, and I remain protected. And I played that. I was bathing in that sound over and over and over. I also prayed with the Psalms. I also did the Kyrie eleison. I reached out to someone in my world who I just see as a spiritual giantess, even though she's in a tiny little body. And she is actually in another country, but she recorded a prayer for me, and I just listened to it over and over and over. I encourage you to open yourself to receive healing from all sources. And I want to share with you one of my meditations. I call it my circle meditation. And it came to me one night in the darkness when I was struggling to breathe and I couldn't sleep. And I just closed my eyes and I pictured myself being surrounded by all of these loved ones. And they were from all different walks of life. They were my family, they were my friends, they were my colleagues, they were people I've met and worked with in the community. And I imagined them surrounding me. And there in the darkness, I closed my eyes and I pictured them, and I looked into the eyes in my mind. I looked into the eyes of each person in the circle. So I looked at one person and I opened myself, I opened my spirit to receive and feel all the love and care and respect and good intention that that person had for me. And I literally just opened myself to that and I let myself receive it. We don't often do that in life. People say, I love you, and we don't necessarily soak it in and pull it in. But I looked person to person and I allowed myself to receive, to feel their love for me. And I meditated on that in the hours of the night, and in the day I would often text with those people and carry on conversation. And so I would just tell you that if you can surround yourself with love and light, whatever that looks like, comfort. I had some cats that snuggled with me. If you can be kind to yourself, be kind to those around you, and expect that recovery is not a straight path. I've taken 3 steps forward and 2 steps back most days, but I'm on the mend, and believe that you will heal. That's all I've got. I'm 21 days in. I don't know everything, but I know a few things. And it is my deep desire that you would use this information so that you might live well today.